What up guys, Commander here, and welcome to my first impressions and opinions review of the May update for Star Wars Battlefront II. Now, this update, I'm basically going to do the main the main two things in this video, and just do it like very quickly, because otherwise this video is going to drag on for too long. So, the first one is the first major thing that's been put into this update. Just on a general note, I really like this update. I think it's really, really good. It's introduced two new things, so the Kamino Capital Supremacy map, which I'll get onto in just a second, and their new HVV game, like the rework of the targeting system, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So, first of all, the Kamino Capital Supremacy update, adding the Kamino map in it. It's a new, what I like about it is, it's a brand new way to, like, play Capital Supremacy, and that's not what I mean. It's not. It sounds different. Me writing it down to me saying it in my head, because of the fact that Kamino is a platform map. I thought that it was, and I knew it was going to be different. I said before, and when the last map was released, what was it? I think it was Kashyyyk. Because when Kashyyyk released, I said, well, it'll either be Kamino or it'll be Naboo. Now, we now know that Naboo's going to be the last one, and I'm really looking forward to Naboo. I think that's going to be really, really good. But Kamino, when I said that Kamino was going to be one of them, I said, I'm not sure how Kamino is going to work, because it's a very different map to Geonosis, Kashyyyk and Naboo, in the sense that it's not just a flat plane that you play on, it's platformed. I mean, you go into the buildings and it is just like flat planes, but outside it's platformed. So it's going to be a little bit like, I wondered how that was going to work, and it worked really well. It actually works better than I thought it would work. So you've got two command posts like indoors. You've got one in the hangar, one in, I think, in the barracks. I think, if I'm right in saying, might be wrong about that, but I think one's in the barracks, one's in the hangar. There's two on either side of platforms, so one at the center point and one to one side. Then there's one on the other side of the map in like one of the rooms on top of like a raised area. Now, what I also like about this map is that it actually needs tactics to play. Now, I'm not saying that the Kashyyyk and Geonosis one doesn't need tactics to play, but a lot of it is just running around trying to capture command posts. It's just running around capturing them one at a time. But the difference with Kamino is that because it's like platformed and it's a much more of a closer quarters map. You are actually fighting for command posts because the map is so much smaller. I'm not actually sure if it is smaller, but it seems smaller. But you're actually fighting for the command posts instead of just jumping from one command post to another and then capturing each one and capturing back the ones that your enemy is just captured and what have you, and just going on like an endless loop. It actually needs tactics to play. So I've played about 3 matches on Kamino. Both lasted about 40 minutes, but both 2 lasted for about 40 minutes, one lasted for about 20. But each one, you can't just go around and jump from command post to command post. Because you actually have to fight for that command post, which I like. You know, whereas Geonosis and especially Kashyyyk, you kind of just run around just like tagging each command post, just capturing them, and you could just be running around for ages and not meet any hostiles except for a few AI, which is a bit of a pain. But because especially Kashyyyk, because it's such a large scale map, there isn't an awful lot they could do without adding in a couple more command posts, but then it would be too crowded. So they couldn't really do too much with Kashyyyk. Geonosis, yes, you can run around and find command posts, but it's because it was designed from the ground upwards to work like that. Because it was built up from the ground up to work for Capital Supremacy, it works perfectly. You know, it's not too big a map, but the command posts are not too closed together. So I think Geonosis is probably going to be the best Capital Supremacy map aside from Naboo. We haven't seen Naboo yet, because it was built from the ground up. But as far as the pre-existing maps are concerned, I think Naboo's going to be the best. Now, also another thing that I noticed with Kamino, in the thing that there's no there needs tactics to play this map, there's also no actual stalemate. Now, what I mean by stalemate is both on Kashyyyk and on Geonosis, there's a center point in the map where you have both sides trying to fight it out to capture and hold that command post. So in on Geonosis, it's on top of the mountain, like hill thing. It's command post E, I think it is. On top of the mountains, you've got two command posts either side. So you've got A and D on one side, and you've got I think you've got B and C on the other side, and then you've got E in the middle. And that's a stalemate because you're literally just constantly fighting for that ground. And on Kashyyyk, it's command post C, right inside the Juggernaut. That is a stalemate point for that. That's the center point. And it's the same basis, but with Kamino, because it's a smaller map, or I think it's a smaller map anyway, the command posts are very much next to each other. So if you're the center point, there is a center point, but it's not a stalemate to get there. So if you're, and it's not very covered either, which makes it even better. So because the center point, if somebody's captured the center point, you could have a sniper on the other side of the map go and just clip you and take you down, and you're actually not taking that command post anymore. So it's a little bit better in that respect because it's so there's no stalemate. You're not just all grouping for that command post. You're actually fighting for various different ones because they're all connected to each other and they're all quite close together. So that's what I like about the map just in general. It's nice to play and it's a bit different. Now, one of some things I don't like about the Kamino map, it's just another ported map. It would be nice if there was a significant difference between how the different maps played. It's the same with Kashyyyk, and Naboo's going to be exactly the same. I'm not saying it's bad, and I know we do need these ported maps over from the other game modes, but, aside from a few bits of, I said this about Kashyyyk, aside from a few bits of environmental clutter, I'd really like for some more stuff to be, changed. Kamino especially, because it is just platforms, you can have the interiors exactly the same. The outside, just swap around the platforms. It's not exactly the hardest. Kashyyyk, yes, fair enough. I can give him a bit of respect for that. It is, if they were to completely rework Kashyyyk, they would have to build it back up because it's such it's on its own. There's not anything they can simply change except for adding a bit of environmental clutter. But Kamino especially, because it's just platforms, they can quite easily just switch a few platforms around. It's not very hard. And if the map's different, it means that everybody has to accommodate to that change, which is why Geonosis took a long time for people to get bored of it. Yes, because it was the only one that came out when it released, it did get boring quite quickly. But for me, especially Kashyyyk, got boring really quickly because I know the map and I know how it works. Kamino is going to be exactly the same because it's because it's the exact same map. I've played it countless amounts of times in Galactic Assault, so I know how the map plays, and I think I'm going to get bored rather quickly. I'm getting really bored really quickly with Kamino because it's just the same map for every single it's the same basis of the map, the same layout. So it would have been nice if they added some variety in it so people could get used to the map again, but again, they didn't. I didn't expect them to, but I personally hope they would do something with Naboo apart from environmental clutter, but again, because Naboo's very built up, there's not an awful lot they can do. Now on to HVV. Now HVV, I've only played a couple games of this because I really wanted to play Kamino Galactic Capital Supremacy. So from what I can see, the targeting system has been completely removed, and that is so much better. It's so much better without a targeting system because especially characters like Boba Fett, where they can on Kashyyyk, where they can just fly out of range. It's so annoying. I've been in numerous instances with the old HVV where that has been the case, and we just the target on my side has just had to just jump off the side because we were just at a stalemate. You know, it's a really good way if we got on double XP to rank up your heroes, absolutely, but it wasn't effective to get through the games as quickly as you possibly could. So that was something that I'm glad they took out. And also now playing, I've played it a bit myself and I've watched people play it quite a lot, and it seems so much more like effective because it's like Blast but with heroes and villains. But something I did notice, and I know that I have just seen a tweet just literally before starting recording this video, from Ben Walk saying that the cap is going to be increased from 25 to 50, which I think is a very necessary change. I think 100's too much, and that's going to make games go on for ages because it is only 4v4. But I think that 50 is perfect. 100 would be too much, 25 is not enough. So I think 50 is going to be absolutely perfect. And maybe if 50 is not quite enough, maybe they can get it to like 60, 65 maybe. Or maybe even 75 if they so much want to. But I think about 50 to 60 is going to be the sweet spot for that game mode. So I'm looking forward to when they release that little patch. Now, just on a little note before I finish, the voiceover wheel. Now, I saw this in the community transmission, and I watched a video of I can't remember who it was. I think it was Star Wars HQ or Fire Guy. I can't remember who it was. But I was watching one of their videos of them covering the release notes and the patch notes about the voiceover wheel. And so one of them explained what the voice wheel was. I just didn't understand what it was. I thought, well, is that just the voice wheel that we've got at the moment? Now, looking at it, I've just seen just looked at it and how it actually works. It is useless. Why would they do that? So basically, I was on my Xbox as of today, as of recording this video in the morning, and I tried to use one of my emotes. Now, normally how the emotes work is once you choose the emote, the animation will go, but if you start moving, the voice line will still continue going. But when I was playing it earlier, I was playing as Dooku, and I was trying to use the emote, I've become more powerful than any Jedi. But as soon as I started moving, his voice line stopped and cut off. Now, the reason why is because the new voiceover wheel, right, is a completely different voice wheel, but it allows you to walk without doing your animation, so you can move and fight while saying your voice lines. But that is what the old one did in the first place. Why is that a thing? Like, I don't understand. Why is that something that needs to be added? Why did they think, oh, what features could we add into, what new features could we add into Battlefront 2 that would actually really be really good? You know, there's adding a new type, planning a new arcade map, porting the new Capital Supremacy over to arcade, planning out some more heroes, working on new maps or new concepts and things. No, we're going to make a new pointless voice wheel. Like, why? I don't know. But anyway, that is where we have time for this this little video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any other thoughts of this May update, leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll respond to any one of your thoughts just to see how your thoughts correspond with mine. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I shall see you all later. Bye!